Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. You're joining me today on the bold arc. We've officially taken off the hair once again. It was looking a bit scruffy the other video, so I decided to clean it up a little bit for you, just so you know my dedication to the presentation in this channel. Now, a quick little video for you today. I want to talk about hobbies and the importance of them. My friends, I have many hobbies. So many that, in fact, I could not count them on my entire hand. I haven't tried, but I assume that would be the case. And while it would be better to focus on one hobby and maybe take it a little further in life, I want to talk to you about the fact that it's actually kind of good to have a lot of hobbies and just explore a lot of things in your life. Why is something I'll get into a little bit later on, but the first point I want to start off with is something that I do pretty wrongly with my videos. And since I want to treat my channel a little bit more like a documentation of sorts, a place for me to talk about things and kind of see how I grow over time, with of course the art content, with everything in general, I want to talk about hobbies and how I approach them, and hopefully in a year's time I can make a video telling you, hey, this stuff went well. For today, I want to talk about the fact that turning your hobby into a job is probably the worst thing that you can do for it. Bear in mind, many hobbies turn into jobs eventually, and they tend to be the best jobs. They always say that the best thing you can do in life is find something that you love, i.e. a hobby, and turn it into a job. So if you're an artist, you make money making art. If you're a YouTuber or someone who posts frequently to YouTube, you make money off of that. If you're someone who crafts or does something similar of the sorts, puts it out there, you want to get paid for it, you want that to be your job. Your hobby turns into a job. If you can keep it separate, that's good on you. I think there's one major problem with this, at least for me, and I've realized this recently, is the fact that this completely ruins the passion and drive that you get for this entire thing that you once called a hobby, but now it's just a chore. It's turned into something that you don't want to do anymore. And then you put so much pressure on this thing that it just isn't fun anymore. It's not something that you come home and you choose as a form of relaxation. And I've fallen victim to this multiple times. You see, YouTube's the prime example. There's a reason I took a break recently to reevaluate things, because I completely lost sight of what YouTube meant to me. It just turned into a daily routine of checking analytics and trying to understand why these new videos that I'm making aren't doing anywhere near as good as the ones that I was making before, even if they're almost carbon copies of them. Then it also turned into watching guides and trying to copy other people and see what I can do to make this better. But this used to be a hobby. This used to be something fun. I'd sit down after work and I couldn't wait to get to the desk and make a video. And I miss that. And that's why I'm doing this again, because this is feeling much more like home. Whilst I started looking at this thing as a job, because ultimately that's all I wanted. This is one of my favorite things to do, and I thought, why not turn that into a job? Why not work hard enough to make that a job? And reality is, it's good to kind of have a safety net, you know? It's good to have something else, something that you won't solely rely on, because YouTube is a thing that's here one day and the other day it's gone. It's just poof, you've fallen off. And the same thing kind of happened for art in a way. You know, art tends to be this thing where I get this buzz to draw again, I get so excited for it, and then it starts becoming a job because I start automatically thinking about monetization. And monetization is the buzz killer of all of these things. That is like David Bowie talking about playing to the gallery.
Never play to the gallery. But you never learn that until much later on, I think. I think it's terribly dangerous for an artist to fulfill other people's expectations. I think they generally produce their worst work when they do that.
You're no longer making art for yourself, you're making it for the gallery, you're making it for others. And he says, and he's completely right in this fact, that is the worst thing an artist can do. Creatively, you will just not make your best work there. You'll make your best work when you do it for yourself and you slightly step out of your comfort zone. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this multiple times across my channel, but I'll repeat it multiple times again. because it's very important. You know, when you think about monetization all the time, and when you think about turning this hobby that you once loved into a job, which that's what it becomes after you start involving monetization with it, because there becomes much more responsibility. There ends up being way more to do and way more stress around the entire thing surrounding this fact that it used to be a hobby, and then it gets draining and it drains your energy. And unfortunately, for me, that's exactly what happened. Now, if you're the type of person that's not affected by it like that, congratulations, thank you. What is it like to live like this? So you see, my friends, I think this is something that's wrong on a deeper level, and it's just something that I'm probably never going to work out. But at least I realize that this is a thing that's happening, and I want to go back from it. And this is why I'm talking to you about it. Do think about monetization, because obviously you can get an amazing job out of doing a hobby for a long time, but don't let it cloud your vision. Don't let that become the sole purpose. You know, making videos was fun, and it's fun again because I've taken that part away. You know, I've stopped checking the analytics, I've stopped doing all that, and I'm not here to like brag about it or anything, but I'm just hoping that you take this inspiration in a way that you can apply it to everything else, especially with art, because I know a lot of you out here are artists, and it's tough. It gets tough with these kind of things, but just understand that as soon as you start taking away this like need for money or need for like making it in this, I think it just 180s, you know. I think once you take that power away from it, it will kind of come back to you and be like, you haven't been worried about this for a long time, you okay? And then it will start, you know, then that starts to manifest towards you in a way. In general, this is just a recipe for creating slop and brain rot, and that's not something I want to be associated with at all. I want to be out here making things that I love and using this as a way to enjoy my time. Because you have a job, you go do your job, and then you have the remaining amount of time, which is a crazy amount of time. You can spend it doing nothing, or you can spend it doing something you love. And, you know, if you keep working on something you love, then who knows, maybe down the line, that becomes monetizable. But don't have that in the front of your mind. I don't think it's good, especially if you're going to do art stuff or anything creative. I think if you're going to do that, then you need another side hustle thing and your art separate. I just think everyone in this world needs a hobby. Now, you may be thinking, Seb, you're saying all this stuff about hobbies. How do I find one? Some people struggle with it. You know, to some people it comes easy. They get too many hobbies and they don't know which one they want to do in the end. And other people, they just don't know what to do with their time. You know, I'm no expert, but I do have a lot of hobbies, so I think I've been able to find some things that interest me. And the main way I've been able to do that is just by trying so many things. Mainly being able to look at someone you like, enjoy watching, someone you hang around with, like your friends or anything like that. Looking at them and trying to pick up what they do, being like, oh, this guy makes servers for fun. A fun fact, that's the next hobby that's coming up on my repertoire. You look at someone making servers, or you look at someone modding old consoles, or you look at someone enjoying old PC games and trying to make them run, or you enjoy watching someone automate their house or do some electronic stuff which you never thought of doing. Try it. You know, there was something in your brain that sparked when you saw that, and that little spark could turn into something crazy. It would just take you down a complete rabbit hole that you can't crawl out of. And let me be clear here, I think that's a great feeling, and I think that's a great thing that we should all chase. If you get wrapped up in something so much that you cannot get your mind off it, that's a beautiful thing. I think that is when you start to learn and create some of the best stuff. And if you find something that helps you continuously fall down that rabbit hole, you found it. You've absolutely found it. There's no more searching, because that feeling, if it keeps coming back, that's it. That is your hobby and you found it, so go with it. For the others, I do have some other ways, little pointers that you can kind of do to find those hobbies. Like I said, the first one, I've got a nice little list of it here. Try everything. Yes, I mean it. Try absolutely everything that you think might interest you. And it can be in categories, so gaming. Don't just try gaming, Counter-Strike or Fortnite if people still play that. Valorant all the time. Don't just play those games. Just explore, you know. You might find some genre that you never thought would be interesting to you. You could just find something beautiful amongst this massive pit of everything. And the second point, like I said, try what other people around you do. Of course, that's an important one. Those two kind of link together. And hang out with friends that do different hobbies. I have a friend who, it'll be great if he watches this video and know who I'm talking about. He showed me his insane home server setup recently. It's incredible. The things this guy can do blows my mind. And he got me hooked. He got me hooked. I set up like a little laptop and I've got a little server going. That's just the beginning of the rabbit hole. And now I can't stop thinking about it. If you've got a friend who dabbles with Arduino and makes his own little, gumball machine out of it, do that. Try it. Go to him and be like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? How are you doing this? Or how does this work? Here's the thing. He'll be so happy to tell you every little detail of what he's doing. No joke. Because these people, me, myself, I have so many hobbies. I'm dying to tell my friends about them. I'm dying to hear the day when one of them says, hey, what is this you're doing? How do you do it? Do that to your friends and you will, no matter of a doubt, you'll find something that will hook your interest. 2 more points. Make sure that if you don't like something, stop doing it. Don't feel a pressure to continue doing this thing. There is a whole argument of grit and persistence, and yes, you should always have those two things in your life. By no means do you have to continue doing something if you really don't feel the energy of it. Absolutely not. Drop it in an instant. Move on to something that you enjoy and something that you like. There's no pressure here. This is why we keep it a hobby, not a job, because as soon as it becomes a job, there's pressure. Then it becomes a bit of a harder choice whether you should be stopping this or not. And the final one is journal this stuff. Write it down. There's much more power in actually writing something down and looking at it that way rather than keeping it in your head all the time. That's always a thing that's going to help you out. And the final thing I want to talk about, how you can kind of find your hobby, is if those things that I just said don't work, or if you've already got like a repertoire of hobbies that you do, but you want to continue with one, you want to find just one hobby that suits you the most. For this, I use the technique as well with my things that I was interested with. You think of every single one of your hobbies and you think of the worst things that they bring to you. The things that you could possibly hate, like the bad tasks, not the good tasks, the bad tasks. You think of all of those, analyze them, and you tell yourself, okay, that's not bad. I can deal with that. Oh, this isn't bad. I can deal with that. You think of all the problems and you think whether you would be happy to deal with those problems for the rest of your life. For example, with YouTube videos, here's the problems. My editing software decides to have a bad day and decides to kill itself and it's gone. That sucks, but I'm okay. I can deal with it. I can do it again. Or I look at my video and it's a 10 out of 10 performance. It sucks. I can deal with it. I'll go again. These things. Look at these things. Can you deal with it? Can you take this on for the rest of your life? Imagine seeing that 10 out of 10 for the rest of your life. If you still can put up with that, then you're really onto something here. So you may ask me why I made this video. Reality is I just wanted to talk about this stuff, and like I said, it's a form of documentation for me. But the real thing is I wanted to show you what I've found out about myself and my hobbies and how I go about things and kind of give them out to you. I like recording these videos and I like talking to the camera. The more and more I do it, the more and more I enjoy it. This was a great topic for me to talk about because it's just something I know about a little bit, and maybe they will be able to help you be a little bit of a step ahead of me. But the most important message within this whole thing was to keep your hobbies and your job separate for the time being. If YouTube one day becomes something where I can make money as a job, I'll think about the fact whether I want to keep it as a sole job or whether I'll try and do something else at the same time. That's something you should come to later. That's when you're seeing something happening, If you're an artist and you're seeing people constantly message you like, hey, can I buy this? Like, this is amazing. Can you do this for me? This is amazing. Yes, there's a job waiting in there for you. If you start off some hobby, like I've done multiple times, and you instantly think of a way to monetize it, maybe you're more of a businessman than an artist, and maybe that business, making a business, is your true hobby, your true calling. But you need to find that out for yourself, and you need to understand that. And you'll only get there by trying a lot of things. So with that, my friends, I'm out of time. But if you like what you saw, give it a like. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. And comment down below, what are your hobbies? What do you do? Is there anything that you could share that someone else in this comment section might see and turn into their hobby? I think this is a wonderful thing to share with other people. And if you enjoyed what you watched and you want to come back here sometime, consider subscribing. But with that, I'll see you in the next video.